What's up, everybody? And today we're checking out 10 reasons the F-35 is now more advanced than you think. We haven't actually done many videos on the F-35. I think, actually, I haven't done any, which is ironic considering it's kind of like the biggest one out right now. But I'm really excited to learn more about it. We know that this aircraft is incredibly advanced. This is by US Military News. I will leave a link in the description. As always, they have amazing videos. We've reacted to loads of their videos in the past, and they are genuinely fantastic. So please go give them a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Other than that, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on this video because it helps with that mysterious YouTube algorithm, and the whole YouTube military kind of community can grow as one big happy family. Other than that, let's shut up. Let's pull this up. Let's watch and learn. Look at that beast.
The F-35 Lightning II is now the world's most dominant multi-role fighter. Its detection range, geolocation, threat identification, and system response capabilities allow the jet to precisely fix and destroy the most advanced threats in the world, including every layer of Russia's latest SA-20 surface-to-air missile, SAM, system.
It's a pretty cool aircraft. It is a pretty cool aircraft in it, let's be honest.
F-35 has now crossed several thresholds that make it the most lethal and cost-effective fighter in or nearing production within the NATO alliance. Here are 10 things you need to know about this stealth fighter.
Oh my god, it's so cool. I want to see one in person. I probably have, but I want to see one in person knowing that it's an F-35.
The first U.S. F-35 A-Wing is fully equipped and already executing combat deployments.
Look at it. Look how sick that looks. What a great shot. Oh my days. It looks like it looks like a spaceship. It looks like a spaceship.
The maneuvering restrictions the jet had when first introduced are now completely removed. Even with a complete internal weapons loadout and full internal fuel, pilots can fight without limitation. Last year, I interviewed 30 pilots at Hill Air Force Base, and all 20 with previous experience in fourth-generation fighters said they would rather fly the F-35 in combat than their previous rides.
I mean, that makes sense because of the amount of technology in it. You would expect them to say that. With that being said, it makes me do wonder if there is any benefits to them previous aircraft to these, right? A lot of this is just so full of technology, it makes you wonder that if a little switch is much better than a screen. Do you get what I'm saying? I'd love to know. I'm just, you know, I'd like to see that interview with this channel, actually, with them people. But I'd love to see if he did ask, is there anything that you prefer from the older aircraft?
That preference held for almost every dogfight scenario they could imagine. 2. The price of the Lightning has fallen below even the most optimistic government targets.
Wow.
In 2018, the Congressional Research Service estimated that an F-35A produced in 2020 would cost $77.5 million using constant 2012 dollars.
Wow.
Translating that cost estimate to current year dollars makes the price of each F-35A $87.1 million. The actual cost of an F-35A in fiscal year 2021 is $79.2 million, and it's expected to fall to $77.9 million in 2022.
That's surprisingly impressive considering the amount of technology that's packed into this thing, isn't it? And you can see why the F-22 has been kicked off, right? Obviously, the F-22 is an absolute powerhouse, and in many ways, you can say it's better than this one. But with the price of this, come on, you can get like 3 or 4 of these in the sky. Wait, the F-22 was what, 200 million? So you could get at least 2.5 of these for that. You know, and that makes a big difference.
$2 million cheaper than the government's best estimate using current year dollars.
That's mental how cheap
3.
it is.
The F-35A now costs less than any other Ally-produced 4th-plus generation fighter.
That's mental.
A fully combat-equipped F-35A is the same price as an FA-18E-F, $9.8 million below the $87.7 million base price of an F-15EX,
wow,
and $40 million less than the Eurofighter.
40 million less than the Eurofighter? What? I still haven't done a video on them, but that's mind-blowing.
And all 3 of those competitors require additional equipment like multi-million-dollar targeting pods before they can employ weapons in medium-threat combat environments.
That's crazy.
The F-15EX self-protection system is estimated to cost $7.5 million, and the sniper targeting pod costs more than $1.7 million per jet, making the total cost for a combat-configured F-15EX $19 million more than a full combat-configured F-35A.
That's absolutely nuts. That is absolutely nuts. I did not know that at all. It makes sense that the F-35 is going to be the top dog for a long time, doesn't it? That's crazy.
And none of those other jets would last for a day in a modern-day high-threat environment.
No. That blew my mind.
Competition has increased performance and driven down costs. The total price of an F-35 is comprised of the aircraft assembled and produced by Lockheed Martin and the F-135 engine produced by Pratt & Whitney plus profit. When a Northrop Grumman-produced aircraft subcomponent called the Distributed Aperture System, or DAS, failed to meet reliability thresholds, the system was replaced with the DAS produced by Raytheon that delivers twice the performance and 5 times the reliability at a per-unit cost 45% lower than the Northrop Grumman model.
They destroyed them. The competition between these companies in the US is pretty amazing, isn't it? Because it only creates innovation. Like, look at that. That just proves innovation with the competition, doesn't it? Incredible.
This switch alone will save the government $3 billion over the life of the program.
$3 billion. Oh my God.
5.
That's a lot of taxpayer money right there.
Not all manufacturers who helped build the F-35 have moved aggressively to reduce costs. Assuming it's stayed on track with Pentagon acquisition estimates, Pratt & Whitney is now delivering F-35 engines for $11.8 million a copy. With production efficiencies, that price was expected to fall to $10.7 million by fiscal year 2025. And
Yo, can you imagine having that as a job? As an engineer working on them? You've got to be making good money to be an engineer working on them first and foremost. And secondly, it must be an absolute dream. If you're an engineer and you're working on them, you wouldn't want to work anywhere else, would you?
Fiscal year
apart from the UFOs that they have in the background. Lockheed Martin, Boeing. I know you've got them. I know you've got them UFOs somewhere.
$12, saving the taxpayer another $1 million per fighter. Unfortunately, without a competitive motor available, Pratt & Whitney has made it clear that further savings are no longer in the cards.
Just nearly knocked over my drink then.
The ability to competitively reduce engine cost and improve performance was lost when Congress killed funding for the F-35 alternative engine contract in 2011, leaving Pratt & Whitney as a sole source supplier with no incentive to reduce its profits.
Speaking of the engine, I know he's talking about profits here, but I want to speak about the engine real quick. I want to know how it takes off vertically off ships. I want to know how it physically does that. It makes no sense to me. How does it do that? Maybe there'll be a video on it. I'd love to know about that. Makes no sense.
6. The F-35A cost per flying hour is falling, but one must wade through Mark Twain's lies, damned lies, and statistics to find out how the jet is doing with this often misconstrued metric. The cost per flying calculations vary significantly between evaluating agencies, but all of them add costs for the F-35 that they don't include for the 4th-generation fighters they compare it to. Electronic countermeasures and precision infrared targeting system are built into the F-35, elevating its maintenance requirements and ultimately its cost per flying. Fighters like the F-15EX, F-16C, and F-A-18EF require additional equipment like external pods to give them similar capabilities, but because they're not built in, the pod's acquisition price is not factored into those 4th-generation jets' purchase price, nor are maintenance costs for those systems included in their cost per flying calculations.
All right. Just think about what he just said, right? And let's move away from the statistics of what he just said. As a YouTuber watching his videos, right? The information he has on these aircraft is mind-blowing. I have no idea where he gets this information from. And it is incredible. It's incredible. I've not watched, and this is the reason why we've reacted to quite a few of his videos. Firstly, they're reliable. Secondly, the information is You know, I've not heard anyone say it's false information in any way, shape, or form. So we obviously, you know, unlike I've had other channels where I've watched videos and they're like, that's completely wrong. And yet you never get that with these videos. So obviously he takes incredible pride on finding the truth. And thirdly, the editing is so good. So good. Like, he didn't have to go through every single aircraft then and show them all, but he did anyway. And it shows, it just like, through imagery, it shows what he's talking about and helps you understand it even more. For someone like me, who I say is not the smartest, not the sharpest, the sharpest knife in the drawer. Is that what I'm trying to say? Is that the right quote? Yeah, it's just really, really impressive. Please go over to his videos and give him a like and a comment. Tell him Original Human loves your videos.
Lockheed Martin, which shoulders roughly 39% of the F-35 sustainment cost, has reported that its share of the cost has dropped by 44% since 2014. Overall, the F-35's cost per flight hour now stands at roughly $33,000, a figure that includes a roughly $4,000 decrease in cost from 2019 to 2021 alone.
That's impressive considering most other things have gone up in price since in that time. Like the whole pandemic and everything, prices have gone up through everything, and yet with this, these parts seem to have gone down.
Is also hoping to persuade the Department of Defense to enter into a performance-based logistics contract that it says will allow the company to meet government targets for reducing the F-35's cost per flight hour to $25,000 by 2025. 7. Mission-capable rates for the F-35 rose considerably over the last year, but they're still below the 80% mission-capable threshold set for the fleet by Secretary of Defense in 2018. According to Lieutenant General Eric T. Fick, director of the F-35 Joint Program Office, the mission-capable rate rose to 73.2% in 2019, up 18.5 percentage points from the previous year. With a priority for parts, forward-deployed F-35...
Oh my God, look at that shot. Oh my God. That's cool as fuck. That is such a cool shot.
Combat squadrons were able to sustain an 89% mission-capable rate, which means parts availability for the fleet is still an issue.
Interesting.
8. Depots limit the F-35 mission capability. When an F-35 component fails, it's replaced with an available spare, and the failed part is shipped to a depot for repair. A total of 68 depots are required to effectively sustain the F-35 weapon system, but just 30 are up and running, and only 11 of those are fully operational.
Yeah, that's not good, is it? That's not good.
Parts availability for the F-35 will continue to hold down mission-capable rates until all depots are operating at capacity. Lockheed Martin and the F-35 Joint Program Office have accelerated their efforts to get depots up and running, and now project that 64 depots will be operational by 2024.
Okay, it's 2024. Give me a message in the description if they have got them all. That makes, yeah, I wonder why they've been holding back. That needs to be like priority. At the end of the day, I know Lockheed Martin want to sell, like for them, it's about getting the best, you know, product as a company out there and get the contracts from the government, right? And from other governments around the world. But if they can't maintain them, I mean, come on. You know, the F-22 is incredibly expensive. My presumption it would be even more expensive to maintain. And so if you start messing up the ball on something like that when this aircraft already is incredibly cheap, you want to keep everything else. You want to keep all the other boxes ticked as well, don't you? You know? Makes me wonder about foreign F-35s, ones in the UK and all that lot. Do they also get their parts from America as well? It would make sense if it's Lockheed Martin making them, wouldn't it?
5 years earlier than the estimated 2029. Assuming funding for parts remains consistent, the parts shortfall will end, allowing fleet-wide F-35 mission-capable rates to meet or exceed 80%.
Yeah, it would make. I'd like to hope that that's happened. This video must be a year or two old then.
9. The helmet-mounted display system for the F-35A is still having problems. The helmet gives pilots an unparalleled level of situational awareness in combat as it displays all critical flight and weapons systems data on the inside of the pilot's visor.
That's mental.
The image from the system's built-in night vision camera is also projected onto the visor, as is the image from the distributed aperture system that automatically tracks and provides vivid cues directly to the pilot on the location of friendly and enemy aircraft.
That's mental.
The helmet is a game changer in combat, but interface issues with its display have caused pilots to become disoriented when refueling or while landing the jet at night. Lockheed Martin went to work fixing this system just as soon as pilots flagged it as an urgent operational need, and that fix is currently being fielded for Navy F-35Cs. It may take several years before...
F-35C, I've not heard of that one before. I've heard of the F-35B. I didn't know there was a C. I wonder how many variants the F-35's got. In fact, let me Google it real quick. How many variants? How many variants of the F-35? 3 variants. The A, B, and C. The C being the carrier variant. That makes sense. The B being the short takeoff / vertical landing variant. And the A being the conventional takeoff and landing variant. Interesting.
Where the helmet fix makes its way to the Air Force. 10. The Autonomic Logistics Information System, or ALIS, is still too big, slow, and suffering too many problems. Every aspect of the F-35A's maintenance, supply, and operations are managed through the F-35 ALIS. Much like an Apple iPhone operating system, ALIS is a computer operating system that holds a conglomeration of 65 applications, subprograms, or modules.
So they've got their own, basically, I/O for this, which is very interesting. And it makes sense, I guess. But my thing is that you're hoping that this... I mean, this must only be to diagnose stuff, unless it's also including all the technical stuff when flying. Because the big thing was having communications between all vehicles and personnel in an area when it's combat, right? And how useful is this I/O when integrated with that other stuff? I went to school for computer science, so I have a big interest in that type of stuff.
Some were built exclusively for the F-35A, others are commercial off-the-shelf programs. The problems arise when digital inputs from either the jet or a more modern ALIS application meet analog inputs or processing from another module.
Yeah, okay.
The Department of Defense has elected to replace ALIS with a cloud-based operational data integrated network. The new system is designed to decrease workload and increase mission capability rates for all F-35 variants and should begin fielding later this year. Overall, the F-35A fighter is flying exceptionally well. It now provides the United States with significant competitive advantage against peer competitor threats. Shortfalls in repair parts and other smaller issues need to be fixed as soon as possible, but the capabilities that the F-35 provides the nation today, along with the dramatic drop in price, make Air Force decisions to procure the F-15EX and to not ramp up F-35A procurement very puzzling indeed.
Weird.
The aircraft provides a capability America needs to engage in strategic competition.
They're a great bit of kit, basically. They need to be looked after. Very interesting video. I learned a lot there about the F-35s. Great video, as always, by US Military News. They're becoming my favorite military YouTube channel, to be fair. I think the quality of the video is just through the roof, isn't it? And the information is next to none. Like, you're not going to find that information in other videos on YouTube. Maybe 1 or 2 other channels do it that good, but I know. I mean, I'd name them if I could. I've reacted to a few of them, but I honestly think that what's that other one called? Let me find a video on what I did. This one. What's this channel called? I forgot what it's called. Let me see real quick. Is it Mustard? It might have been Mustard, but I don't think it was. It was something else. There's a couple of channels that do really good videos, and that's one of them. It really is. I really enjoyed it. It'll be in the description if you want to go check it out. What else? Don't forget to check out Dreadnought MEADERY, my other project with my brother where we're making, testing, reviewing mead. It's something we're both really passionate about. Other than that, that's it. I'll see you in tomorrow's videos. Maybe there'll be a live stream soon. Not on Friday, though, because I'm going watching Dune 2 in the IMAX and I'm super hyped. I love you all. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.